onto their head. Riwayat says this increases the spirituality up to the next Maha Ramadan. So just hear me out, and then whatever you feel you want to do, you do. My duty is to just remind people, so that these are the things that that are expected of us. If you remember the first majlis that I recited, and I said I'm coming here in the month of Rajab, and Rajab is the start of the month of A'mal, even in Mafatih al-Jinan, if you recall. So the month in which the A'mal starts in Mafatih al-Jinan is Rajab, primarily because that is the start that leads up towards Maha Ramadan. 2 months we've spent to come to this month. And the next 21 days we're going to work, 22 days we're going to work, so that we come to Shab al-Qadr on the 23rd. So this becomes very important. At that point I'd mentioned, we are a community that are very attracted to passive ibadat. Passive ibadat means, you remember, somebody is reciting, we listen. We're happy on that. But if you have told that in the month of Ramadan, the whole month of Ramadan, we have to recite 1,000 rakat namaz, starting in the first 20 days, the first 10 days, 20 rakats, and then it goes on, and 100 rakats in Shab al-Qadr, we say, you might as well listen to Dua Iftitah rather than do it. We are a community that likes to do passive ibadat. Somebody else does, we want to listen. It's not the time now. In this time, you pick up Mafatih al-Jinan, you pick up Iqbal al-Amal, pick up Al-Misbah al-Mutahajjid. All of them say, you have to do it yourselves. We have to act. We have to do an act of ibadat. If we don't do it in this month, when then? When? Something has to give. We have to slog ourselves out, the life that we lead. Everyone knows what we go through in our lives. Everyone knows the reality. If my realities were to come before you, you would never talk to me. And similarly for you, if it were to come before others, they would not talk to you. This is the rawat that tell us. If Amirul Mu'mineen and if Imam Sajjad can play 1,000 rakat namaz every night, despite them not needing it, then what's stopping me and you from doing it? What a ghurur we've got. They are iman. They are iman. We have to believe in them. If they, as being iman, still are going so far out to be reciting, so Hazrat Zahra would stand the whole night, her legs would get swollen. Whereas Hazrat Zahra, you know about her, it is said, whatever she likes, Allah will like that. Whatever she doesn't like, Allah doesn't like. What is the need for her to stand for the entire Shab Jummah to pray with her legs swollen? She being the iman, if we don't believe in her, we are not Shias. We don't enter paradise. But yet they do it. And I, who claim myself to be following Bibi Fatima, am so arrogant that I don't want to stand up. I don't want to pray. So sometimes it behooves us to just step back and take a look as to where my life is going. Is it not time that I change? Is it not time I sort things out? No other time better than this month of Ramadan. So coming back to our point is that we take these 30 fistfuls on water to increase the spirituality up to the next year. That's point number 2. Point number 3, very important, something very, very important for tonight. Whatever happens, don't miss it out. Because there are 2 things I'm going to tell you and focus on tonight. Others I'm just going to skim through, because I'm looking at my time, I've got 12, 13 minutes more. One out of the 2 very important things. One, and the last I'll mention at the end, the second one. The first very important point, the Ziarat of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Specifically, all these major occasions you will find that Imam Hussain has always been. Why? Because Hussainun minni wa ana min Hussain. Hussain is from me, but my religion is because of is madyun, is indebted to Hussain. So every time there is an important event, Hussain is to be remembered. Tonight, the first of the start of the holy month of Ramadan, where the mercy of God is at its effusive best. It says, recite Ziarat of Imam Hussain. Riwayat tell us, somebody who does the Ziarat of Imam Hussain tonight will get the rewards equivalent to all the Hujjaj of the year, this year, and all those who had gone for Umrah in this year. Again, this is working smart as opposed to working hard. Working hard is we spend money, we go to Umrah, we do 7 tawaf, we come back, sa'i and taqseer, and we come back and spend time and spend money and get humiliated at the airports by the Saudis. In a smart way, Ziarat of Imam Hussain tonight. At the very least, Ziarat Awarat. Staying away. You know, the Ziarat of Imam Hussain, he just says, Sallallahu alayka ya Aba Abdullah 3 times. That is equivalent to going to Karbala. Tonight is that. All the Hujjaj of the year, the rewards of those people, all the Mu'tamirin, all those who've gone for Umrah in this year, all those rewards accumulated for this person who does the Ziyarat of Imam Hussain. This is again for the night. For the day, you have to pour, you have to pour 30 fistfuls of water onto the head for relieving of pain in the body. Now, this is where, and again, second one is you know, washing the face with rose water and then putting it on the head, putting it on the face, the rose water, it protects us from humiliation. So you've got protection from skin diseases, protection from pain, protection from humiliation. You have to realize this does not mean that in that entire year nobody will get any skin diseases. It does not mean that in that particular year you will not experience any pain. It does not mean that in that particular year, if you've put rose water on your face, you will never face humiliation. It works exactly like sadaqah. You know what sadaqah does? When you give sadaqah, what does sadaqah do? Sadaqah lowers the intensity of whatever was going to happen. So when you give sadaqah, if you were supposed to be walking on the road and met with an accident that would have put you into hospital for 3 months, when you take out sadaqah, that thing is lowered down in such a way that you break your hand with a sling in 6 weeks. Had that sadaqah not been there, 3 months into the hospital. With sadaqah given, 6 weeks in a sling. You don't say, oh, I've given sadaqah, I should not be touched now. I'm untouchable. Even if a person were to shoot me in the stomach or in my chest, nothing should happen. Nobody says that. All that it says is it reduces the intensity of what would have happened. If you were to have fallen down and broken your arm, and now you take out sadaqah, probably you get scratched, you bleed, in 2 days and 3 days the bleeding heals. It reduces it. Similarly, these things, when it says, don't say and come back to me and say, oh, we did that ghusl and I'm still having skin diseases. Had this not been there, the intensity of skin disease would have been more. It's reduced now. The same thing goes with the pain. Oh, my body is paining. Yes, had you not done this, the pain would have been even more. So always understand that. There is no short cocoon of a shield that will protect everybody. That is not how God works. There's always a hikmat of God. In this world is a test. What He's given us is, He's given us ideas to reduce the intensity. But you can never say, I should always be free from all tests of God. That is not the sunnat of God. The sunnat of God, وَلَن تَجِدُ لِسُنَّةِ اللَّهِ تَبْدِيلًا. The sunnat of God doesn't change. So this is very quickly, and the best thing is if you've missed out what I've said, just go to any of these books. You can pick up the books, go to duas.org. They've got a very revamped website, very easy to view. Previously it was slightly difficult. Now they've all categorized it into good tabs. That's the best way to go about. But now the very important point that I want to mention to you today. And this is something that I recommend not only to you, but also to the Jamaat people, to also to the managing committee, because this is something, it's so important, and unfortunately many times it's not paid attention to. It's not regarded, and that is regarding Jawshan Kabeer. See, many times people are of the belief, especially the youths, that what we see, what we hear in our community, oh, these are all cultural. So, in month of Ramadan, we see people reciting 3 times Surah and Dua Jawshan Kabeer. It is cultural. Everything in the community that takes place is not cultural. There are certain, many times, yes, some have cultural basis. But a lot of things do not have cultural basis. They have religious basis. And one of the things is Jawshan Kabeer. This Jawshan Kabeer to be recited, let me tell you where it actually came down from. In one of the battles, and Maulana Sahib is over here. He knows this better than me. In one of the battles, the Holy Prophet was participating in a battle, and he was wearing this dhira, the coat of armor. In olden days, the coat of armor used to be made of iron to protect from against the hitting of the sword or the striking of the arrows. This particular one that was made for him was an exceptionally heavy one, because they were anticipating a tough battle. And the riwayat says he was getting aziyat with it. He was really getting troubled. The weight was troubling him. Now, this riwayat has been narrated from the fourth Imam, Imam Zain al-Abidin, who says, I heard it from my father, Imam Hussain, who heard it from his father, Amirul Mu'mineen, who heard it from the Prophet, who says this is what happened when Jibreel came down. So it's got a very strong sanad. So in this, the Prophet is, the Imam Zain al-Abidin is saying the Prophet was wearing this coat of armor, was hurting him too much. He's wanting to go to the battlefield, but he's getting very inconvenienced. At that time, Jibreel comes on. I'm going very quickly, just removing all the paraphernalia. I'm looking at the time, 5-7 minutes remaining. So Jibreel comes on and says, "Inna Allah yuqra'uka salam." Allah has sent his salams to you, and he said, take out this dhira that is inconveniencing you. For I'm going to give you something that will protect you better than what the dhira can protect. And then the Prophet says, what is it that you have got for me? And he brings forward this dua, Joshni Kabeer. He says, Inna Allah has written this dua ala qibam al-arsh, on the props of the arsh, 70,000 years before he created the universe, before he created the world. This dua of Joshni Kabeer, then the Prophet takes out the dhira and recites it. And the rewards of this are just exceptional. It says, in the month of Ramadan, and this is where I come back, everything is not cultural. It is Ziarat says, in the month of Ramadan, if somebody were to recite it once or 3 times, and this is where the 3 times come into Shabai Qadr that we do, 19th, 21st, and 23rd, whether we are in East Africa, whether we are in India, whether we're in Pakistan, wherever we are, we find that this is in a community. Why? Because of this riwayat. Says a person who recites it either once or 3 times, Dua Joshni Kabeer, in the month of Ramadan, riwayat says, Harramallahu jasadahu ala nar. Allah makes his body haram upon the fire of hell. You know what haram upon fire of hell means? I'm looking at the time and I can't. One day Aisha, the riwayat of Aisha, when she enters into the house of Hazrat Zahra, let me very briefly, I will tell you. She's entering the house of Hazrat Zahra, and she sees the door open. She enters. She doesn't see Hazrat Zahra. She hears somebody in the kitchen. She opens the door. She sees something that she can't tolerate. She sees Bibi Zahra cooking food. There's a salan, sag, that is being cooked, curry. And that curry is boiling, and it is about to overflow. And all of a sudden, she sees Bibi Fatima putting her hand inside that boiling water and moving it around so that it doesn't boil over. Boiling cauldron, boiling vessel of boiling curry. Bibi puts her hand inside. She comes out, she goes to her father. She says, I saw this. She says, Mahi, stop. Don't say to anybody. Then Prophet announces himself. Somebody comes to my house and sees something and they doubt the Fadilah of Fatima. That's a different incident. These are those people on whom fire has been made haram. Prophet says, Joshni Kabeer makes a person's body haram upon the fire of hell. You get me? Now this is about the fire. Why am I speaking it tonight? Because we got another tradition specifically. Out of those 3 days, 1 day the riwayat says to be recited on the night of first night. That's why you'll find in the calendar, the Jamaat calendar and Communite, one of the things is Joshni Kabeer. The reason is this. Let me read out this riwayat to you. This riwayat says, وَمَنْ دَعَى بِهِ. If one were to recite it in the first of the month of Ramadan, I'm reciting the Arabic text. وَمَنْ دَعَى بِهِ بِنِيَّةٍ خَالِصَةٍ. Whoever recites this dua, listen to what I'm saying. مَنْ دَعَى بِهِ. Who recites, doesn't just listen. That's why I keep saying, not passive ibadat, active ibadat. We need to recite. We can't just sit with our backs to the walls and, oh, somebody's reciting, I've heard Dua Joshni Kabeer. No. Man da'a biha. Whoever recites, baniyatin khalisatin fi awwal shahr Ramadan. Who recites it in the first of the shahr Ramadan. A'atahu Allah ta'ala. Thawab laylatul qadr. He will be given the rewards of laylatul qadr. You have one Laylatul Qadr, that is on the 23rd or the 21st or the 19th. We don't have 3 Laylatul Qadr. We program our programs on those 3 nights because we don't know which is a definite one. So that in order we don't miss it out, we do it on those 3 nights. But we have only one Laylatul Qadr. We can only get the rewards of Laylatul Qadr in one night, except on the 1st of Ramadan, where if Dua Jawshan Kabeer is recited, all that we would do on the 23rd night, if that is the Laylatul Qadr, or on the 21st night, if that was the Laylatul Qadr, or on the 19th night, if that is the Laylatul Qadr, we get that same rewards for tonight just by listening and reading Dua Jawshan Kabeer, which is 1 hour. We don't have to stay awake. We don't have to recite 100 rakat namaz. We don't have to recite the amal of Quran. Nothing. Just Dua Jawshan Kabeer, Thawab Laylatul Qadr. وَخَلَقَ لَهُ 70 ألف ملك. وَخُلِقَ لَهُ 70 ألف ملك. And it will be created for him 70,000 angels. يُسَبِّحُونَ اللَّهِ. They would do tasbih of Allah. وَيُقَدِّسُونَهُ. And do taqdees of Allah. وَجَعَلَ ثَوَابَهُمْ لِمَنْ دَعَى بِهِ. And Allah will give the rewards. Allah will create for a person who recites Dua Jawshan Kabeer tonight, the first night. He will create 70,000 angels who will do his tasbih, who will do his taqdees up to the day of judgment, and the rewards of all these actions will go to the person who for 1 hour tonight has recited Dua Jawshan Kabeer. And that is why it's a recommendation. In the house, if your relatives, your family members don't recite it, make sure they recite it. In the community, we have to make sure, the management has to make sure that they make arrangements. Alhamdulillah, this time we've done it. Probably in future, if there is not done, you as community need to take it to the people in the leadership and tell them, look, we are willing to come. We need to come. We want that Laylatul Qadr. We want these 70,000 angels. And the 70,000 angels, just one thing, just one sentence and then one point and then we leave. Rawat tell us about, in the 4th skies, there is a house by the name of Baytul Ma'amur. This Baytul Ma'amur is directly above the Kaaba. And the shape of the Kaaba, the design of the Kaaba, the architecture of the Kaaba is a replica of Baytul Ma'amur. So Baytul Ma'amur is the original one, exactly that same. So you want to know what is Baytul Ma'amur? Look at the Holy Kaaba. Everything that is there about the Kaaba, it's a derivative, it's a replica of Baytul Ma'amur on the 4th skies. And it is so perpendicular up that when the Holy Prophet went on Mi'raj and he was made to enter Baytul Ma'amur, he says, I looked down and I was so perpendicularly vertical over the Kaaba that if I were to have dropped a stone, it would have fallen straight onto the roof of the Kaaba. Rawat tell us every day Allah creates 70,000 angels that go to the Ziarat of Baytul Ma'amur. They do the tawaf, they do the ibadat, they return back, never to return back again up to the day of judgment. That means every day Allah creates 70,000 angels. The reward for a person who recites Jawshan Kabeer, according to Riwayat, is all those 70,000 angels from the time they started to go into Baytul Ma'amur up to the time of the day of judgment that they will continue to go. All of them will be given to the reciter of the Jawshan Kabeer. With all of this, if somebody were to not recite Jawshan Kabeer 3 times in this month or the first day of tonight, then we have to look at ourselves that do we really want to go to paradise? We keep saying we want to go to paradise, but when the doors are open and we want to shut it ourselves, then there is nobody to blame except ourselves. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that may He grant us tawfiq for us to learn from these traditions of the Ma'asumeen, understand them and then implement them in our lives, so that we have a good dunya and a good akhirah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. غفر الله لنا ولكم والحمد لله رب العالمين.